Hi, I'm Lori Rodriguez, and this is Let It Be Said. You are a loved child of God. The God of creation loves you unconditionally. The all powerful, all knowing God loves you individually, and He loves you wholeheartedly. There is nothing that you or I can do that He will stop loving us. We cannot stop Him from loving us. So we're reading in Psalms today, and it is where are you? Psalms 52. So this is a time, I'm going to just set it up first. This is a time when David was running from Saul. He had gone to the priest Ahimelech and had asked for bread and a sword. And the only bread that was there was the bread that was offered to the priest and to the Lord. But David was saying that he and his men, which was a lie, because it was only David, needed the bread because they needed sustenance. So the priest gave it to him and gave him Saul's sword. He didn't tell him anything else, and so Ahimelech was still loyal to the king Saul. So there was a man there, his name was Doeg, and he was there witnessing this. And he was an Edomite, so he was not an Israelite. And at one point, Saul's saying, like, is there anybody that's loyal to me that knows where David is? And so Doeg goes and tells King Saul what Ahimelech had done, what the priest had done. He said, he gave David food and he gave him a sword. And so now Saul is thinking that the priest Ahimelech was disloyal to Saul, but Ahimelech didn't know that David was running because David didn't tell him. So this is a psalm from David talking about Doeg and how he's so evil, because when King Saul went to talk to Ahimelech, he said, why were you disloyal to me? And he said, I didn't know this was happening. I didn't know David was running from you. And so he told his King Saul told his guards, kill Ahimelech and his family. And they said no. They were not gonna. It says, do not mess with the people of God, do not let me think, hang on. In that sense, like, don't mess with those who God has anointed. Don't mess with the anointed of God. And so the Israelite guards know better, and they said no. But Doeg went ahead and not only killed 85 of Ahimelech's family, priests and family, he killed all of that city. He killed the animals. He went on a killing spree. Like, talk about serial killers. So here's David, and he's going to talk about Doeg, and he says, why do you boast about your crimes, great warrior? Don't you realize God's justice continues forever? All day long you plot destruction. Your tongue cuts like a sharp razor. You're an expert at telling lies. You love evil more than good, and lies more than truth. You love to destroy others with your words, you liar. David, in his heart, felt responsible for these deaths because he did not tell priest Ahimelech the whole story. And so David is so upset. He wants to go murder Doeg, because he's saying, like, why are you rejoicing in what you've done? Now Doeg, if we look at his side, he's trying to win the respect of the king. And so that's why he went and did all this. It's like, oh, the king will now honor me. David continues, but God will strike you down once and for all. He will pull you from your home and uproot you from the land of the living. The righteous will see it and be amazed, and they will laugh and say, look what happens to the mighty warriors who do not trust in God. They trust their wealth instead and grow more and more bold in their wickedness. But I am like an olive tree, David says, thriving in the house of God. I will always trust in God's unfailing love. I will praise you forever, O God, for what you have done. I will trust in your good name. So David, so upset over what Doeg has done, feeling responsible himself, and he's saying these things that are going to happen to those who are wicked. And as Christians, we are to pray, God, please redeem those who can be redeemed, because there are so many wicked people out there. But we have to pray that salvation will come to them. But if it doesn't, this is what happens, is that they, like David said, but God will strike you down once and for all. He will pull you from your home and uproot you from the land of the living. Now, in the Jewish theory of what happened to Doeg, they said that Doeg gave up his share in the world to come. And angels of destruction took his knowledge, number one, burned his soul, number two, and tossed ashes to the wind. This is, in a sense, the theory that the Jewish people say about Doeg. But honestly, anyone who chooses to stay wicked will be put into outer darkness and will have gnashing of the teeth. It'll be like, is there ever a time where you're just pulling your teeth because there's so much pain? Well, this will be for the rest of their lives. So that's why it's so important as Christians that we call out to God and say, please save them. Please, like all this wickedness, please save them from it. But if they choose not to, then destruction will be their home. And we don't want that. So David, in his anger and in his shame in himself that he didn't tell Ahimelech the whole story, wrote Psalms 52, a great reminder for us to, number one, stay out of wickedness. Number two, speak the truth so that we won't harm anyone innocently, an innocent bystander, and then to trust in God. I love how he said, I will always trust in God's unfailing love. That's what we have to do. Be like our brother David, King David. He said, I will always trust. We must always trust in the Lord our God and always trust in his love for you and for me. I'm Lori Rodriguez. This is Let It Be Said. I will see you next time.